Welcome to It Starts With Courage podcast with Kat and Jen. What is it? It's everything. Everything you want in life starts with courage.
So this was my topic, or I picked this topic, and it's just about being happy with what we have and being focused on what we have and not on what we don't have.
Right.
I know you're big on social media,
Yes.
Instagram, but I think like our life has changed since the start of social media, right? Like when we're growing up, everybody would be like, oh, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses were the people that live next door, and you would see them with the new clothes or the new car or the new whatever that they got, and everybody's like, oh, they got a new car, so I need to get a new car. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yes.
But now the Joneses are everywhere.
Fake Joneses too.
Yeah. So now like we get on our phones and like we're bombarded with everybody's best life.
Or highlights of their life.
Yeah, right. So, there's nothing more like, I don't think there's anything that we do more to cause anxiety in our life than compare what we have to other people's best life.
Yes. And feeling like what we have is not good enough because someone else has something else that's different to us. Not that it may be better, but it looks great on the phone, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I think like we go through stages, right? So you all go to school.
Yes.
You all graduate from school, high school. And then you go to college. And then everybody gets their first job.
Right.
Typically, people are getting starter salaries and stuff, and you move up the chain little by little. But you start seeing these people that you went to college with that started out with a job, and all of a sudden you see them with like a brand new car.
I've been feeling like that lately.
Or you see them go on these exotic vacations, and you're like, wait a minute. I know what they make and I make that and I can't afford that. Like and then it gives us this anxiety of like, oh, are we not good enough? Or, everybody goes through that.
Are we not doing life the right way?
We're not doing life the right way. Our kids don't have the things, all the designer things that everybody else's people have. Like it just is this huge, source of anxiety for people. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about that today and encourage people just to be happy with where they're at.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. That's a huge source of anxiety because we're so busy focused on what other people are doing and what benefits they seem to be reaping that we aren't reaping as well, that it can make your life seem like it's insignificant, not even just insignificant, like you're not doing as well as you should be. And we forget that person may show us this husband, boyfriend who's just bought them these amazing flowers or this $20,000 ring, but they haven't shown you the credit card that it was used for while they have 2 other credit cards that are overdue.
Yes.
So it's almost like social media puts filters on real lives and just shows us the perfect pictures. And we forget that. We can forget that. And we start to chase after this ideal because I have some friends out there. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I have some friends who sometimes, it's great to have goals. It's great to have dreams. It's great to want great things. But we shouldn't want, I guess we shouldn't want to attain these things at any cost, by any means, just to have it. Because you're creating so many other problems in your lives. Getting that car or decorating your living room a certain way because this is the current trend right now while you know that you may have some overdue bills, or you know that that money really should be going to other things that would make your living situation more comfortable, I think is where people are going wrong sometimes. We're more interested in the acceptance or perceived acceptance from other people, what we think they're going to think of us when they see that we have these great things. But I think it's important to remember that people also see you as a whole picture. The same way, as you said, we may look at coworkers that afford these expensive, luxurious holidays or do this, and we know we make the same money. How are you doing that? Sometimes people also see behind that. You may be sold this perfect picture, but all you're seeing is what's framed in that.
Yeah, correct.
You don't have the entire background.
Yes. So we're just like encouraging people. One of my favorite people to follow on Instagram is Charlie Rocket. If you're not following Charlie Rocket, you should go look him up. He has an amazing story. He was very successful and ended up wanting to be a Nike athlete. He made his own commercial, ended up being a Nike athlete. And
Nike, I'll be your athlete too. Just saying.
Now his page, he has like the Dream Machine, and he literally travels around the world and finds people and like just changes their lives. Like he found, like he met a homeless man in California who was an artist, and he like put him on his Instagram page and got him to do some art, and then he put him in a gallery, and like the guy made like $250,000 on his art, and he was able to get off the streets. But that's what he does. He basically drives around town and asks people, what's your dream? Right. What do you want to do? You might be serving coffee at Starbucks now, but what is your dream? How can it help you reach your goal? And one of the things that he's famous for preaching is that you're always on a winning streak. Like if you slept in a bed last night, and you got up and you got in the shower and you had hot water, and you then made a cup of coffee, and you had guess what? You're on a winning streak. Right. And what he's trying to tell people is that stop looking at like when things go wrong in your life, the big things. Something may not, a deal fell apart, a friendship, you've had an argument, something didn't go right at work. Like, yeah, some of those things are bad, or they are, cause you anxiety and stress in your life. But you're on a winning streak. If you have a job right now, if you can pay your bills, if you wake up and you have a place to live, there are so many other people out there that would kill to have your life on your worst day.
So it sounds like it's really about shifting your mindset. Instead of thinking about what you don't have and what it is that you're trying to attain, what is it that you have right now that you should be happy about, you should be grateful for.
That's right.
That you can use to build up and get to that next level that you want to get to, right?
Yeah. So one of the things, and I haven't been doing it lately, but I need to get back into it, is I did a really good job for a while of waking up every morning and writing down my goals and writing down 5 things that I'm grateful for every day. And I can remember like driving around town one day and like just having this overwhelming feeling of happiness. And I was like, man, you would have thought that I would have just like sold $1 million house, or like, something big must have just happened to make you feel like this happy, as you are right now. And really, like when I stopped and thought about it, there was nothing like big that happened. It was just that my mindset, by just writing down 5 things I'm grateful for in the morning, was focused on gratitude. And really, gratitude is the key to happiness and joy. So I just want to encourage anybody out there that is struggling with seeing a bunch of your friends or people on social media that look like they have their life together, that look like they're like years ahead of you. Maybe you're feeling like you're behind on where you're supposed to be. You know, just go back to the basics and just think about what you're grateful for. And if everything is going wrong, just your health, your breath, your house, your bed, like go back to the very basics of, you know, life.
And, you know, if any of you out there have ever met me in person, what people will always say about me is I always have a smile on my face. It could be the worst day ever. And I'll always have a smile on my face. And you know, as you were saying that, I remember someone asking me this when I was at university. And she just said, why are you just always happy? Why are you just always happy? And for me, you know, if you've been listening to the podcast from the beginning, I shared a little bit about my life. And to me, I always go back to thinking, I am so grateful for where I am today. I am so grateful for where I am today because I know how completely different things could have been. For all the things that I have today, no matter how small or how big, any opportunity that I have today, I know that I easily couldn't have had that opportunity. My life could have been completely different. And while things don't always go as I've planned, daily, monthly, yearly, at the end of the day, I'm still here. I still have another chance. Yeah. You still have another chance.
Yes.
You know?
And the last point that I wanted to talk about today is just like, you know, I really feel like we as women, because I'm assuming that most of the people that are listening to this podcast
we got a couple
are probably,
guys on there.
Probably women, but like, especially for women, I see it all the time where people are succeeding and like as women, we kind of, it breeds like jealousy, like, or you don't want to celebrate that person. But just because they're having success in their life is not taking away anything from you at all. Like your time is going to come. You're just not there yet. And so like, as women, we need to like, congratulate each other. Yeah. We need to speak words of encouragement. We need to support each other and be there for each other because it's hard. Life is hard. And instead of, you know, being surrounded by people that are secretly jealous or hoping that you don't succeed or you fail, like we need to pick each other up and help each other. And there was a quote, I don't know who said it, but I think I read it on Facebook one day. It was like, if you do something amazing and you have success and your inner circle is not cheering for you, you need a new inner circle.
Yes, 100% agree with that. And just before we close this podcast, guys, I also want to shout out Jen. Everything she's just said this past 2 minutes about women cheering each other on is 100% Jen. Jen is someone who's successful in her own right. She may not talk about herself, but she is successful. In the time that I've known Jen, probably about 8 months ago, Insecure Fitness hadn't started when I first met Jen. Fast forward, Insecure Fitness is now here. And she benefits nothing really from Insecure Fitness. And there was a conversation I had with her when we just before we decided to start this podcast. And she said, you know, I just want to see you grow and just become even more successful than you are. And I just want to do anything I can to help. You need people like that in your life. Today, I have a few more people on my team. Even our sound engineer today is because of Jen. And I've just seen how much she, pours into people. And just remember that if you listen to the podcast on leadership, cheerleading, she makes you believe that you are capable of anything. And just the two of us sitting here, myself and Taylor, she's just opened up so many opportunities for us by also sharing her circle. So if you don't have friends that do that for you, that share opportunities with you, change your circle.
Thanks for listening to this episode of It Starts With Courage podcast with Kat and Jen. If you like this episode of the podcast, visit our website, iswcpodcast.com, for show notes and other cool things.